Let's do a problem from your lab assignment, section 2.7. If a ball is thrown into the air with an initial velocity of 43 feet per second, and its height in feet after t seconds is going to be given by y equals 43t minus 16t squared. Then they want us to find the velocity at t is equal to 2. So the velocity is pretty close to the slope of the tangent line. It is in fact the slope of the tangent line, and we'll see later on that it is what's called the derivative. So we start with our height function. S of t is equal to 43 minus 16t squared, and the ball's velocity is going to be given by v of a is equal to, and here's that limit. Limit as t approaches a of s of t minus s of a divided by t minus a. So we're requested to find the velocity at t is equal to 2, so we're going to use a is equal to 2 in this case. And then we have v of a, v of 2 is equal to, and then we're essentially going to put a 2 wherever we see an a. Limit as t approaches 2 of s of t minus s of 2 divided by t minus 2. So s of t is simply this function 43t minus 16t squared, and so the s of t slot will be filled in by that function. And then now we're going to put s of 2. S of 2 is taking your s function and putting 2 in wherever you see a t. So it's 43 times 2 minus 16 times 2 squared. And then our denominator is t minus 2. Didn't change. So now let's simplify this. We're going to get 43. I think I need a calculator for this one. This is a 43 times 2 minus 16 times 2 squared. So that is 22. Now, if we put t is equal to 2 here, we're actually going to get 0 out of 0 divided by 0. So we're going to be interested in actually seeing if we can factor. Hopefully we can factor. And we're going to take a look at factoring by taking a look at the numerator here. And then they're saying that the numerator factors as negative 16t plus something and then t minus something. Now my guess is that we want to put two numbers that multiply to 22, so that's 2 and 11 would probably work here, but let's actually see what this is asking us to do. We have 43t, let me see if I can write this in an equation form. 43t minus 16 t squared minus 22, and what we want to do is we want to factor this. So let's just switch things around a little bit, and by that I mean just switch it so that it's in descending order of power. And then the idea is that we want to get out of this thing, we want to get a factor, and then negative 16t plus something is the first factor that they have, and then the second factor that they have is t minus something. So this is what's going on in this expression that they want. So again, the two numbers have to multiply to negative 22. One of them's negative, one of them's positive already. And I think if I put 11 here and a 2 here, then this is 16 times 11, which is going to get way too big. So I'll switch that back to 11 and 2. 16 Negative 16 times negative 2 is positive 32. Positive 32 plus 11 is 43. So that looks like it'll work. So those are the two numbers that we want, 11 and a 2. And the negative's already out here, so that's going to be fine. And now that we have that, we essentially have a t minus 2 in the numerator and in the denominator. We have a t minus 2 in the numerator and the denominator. We're going to get the cancel. So they canceled it for us, and then so all they have left is negative 16t plus 11. And we take the limit, since this is a polynomial, continuous and everything. We can just simply put in the value of 2 there. So now we have negative 16 times 2, which is negative 32 plus 11. So this is going to be a negative 21. Okay. So if we take a look at this from a graphical point of view, let's graph this expression. Remember, the expression, the original expression is 43t minus 16t squared. And I'm going to use x's because most programs use x's. And then we're concerned about what happens at 2. And this thing, I had this set up for a different range of values. So I'm going to readjust this. I actually want to capture the highest point too. See, the highest point looks like it goes up to maybe 30. So let's go from, I don't know, negative 2 to, that's negative 2. And then let's not go farther than 10. Maybe even 5 is good enough. And then our height, let's go from just negative 2 to 30. I think we had 30 there, so that maybe that's fine. Okay. So this is when t is equal to 2 would be somewhere over here. Our y value is 22, which we also were able to get that piece of information. And then the point is that the graph here, or the ball, if the ball was following this path, the ball would be falling down. And so that's why we got a negative 21. That's why we got a negative number, is because the velocity is now decreasing. It's going downward. Okay. All right. So I hope that helps.